Hello, GSD432 class. So this is seminar 5. We're almost done with class. So for seminar 5, for discussion questions, we only have 3 this week, and they're all about violence. So write something nice about violence. And that's all I need to say about those. Design pattern. So we're on our final design pattern. So this should be our 6th one. Yeah, 6th one. It's the decorator design pattern. So go find some websites to talk about it. If you need help finding one, let me know. I can help you out there. And like always, the design pattern's name kind of tells you what it's kind of doing. So we're decorating. Your project this week. So I should say for the seminar. So last seminar we did the procedural cave generation code, and they had videos to go along with it. This week we don't have videos because we're taking that project and we are expanding it outside of the original creator's idea of what he wanted to do with it. Oh, excuse me. So we're gonna make a maze generator, and I'm gonna go through all the items on the list there, and comment on them. Okay, so hopefully it'll clear up some stuff. Let me know if you need help. Let me know. Okay, and so these instructions, I didn't hold your hand and walk through this whole process with you. I gave you the big pieces or the big ideas of what needs to be done. It's up to you to figure out, okay, what's the nitty-gritty little pieces inside all these pieces need to be. Okay, so I'm warning you, you're gonna have to think. Okay, so we don't want to mess up the cave generation project per se. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that map generator file and we're going to rename it map generator cave, so that way it stays at the cave file. We don't want to mess with it. And then rename the class inside as well to the map generator cave, to, so that we know that it's the generator for the cave one. You're going to update the draw gizmos. And then the third bullet is create a file called map generator maze. And we will be generating a maze instead of a cave in this file. Okay. We're going to copy pretty much all that cave code into this maze code. So however you want to do that, you can do it. First thing we want to do is we want to create a method called clear map, and this method is going to set the map to all zeros or all ones. Okay, it depends on how you're viewing this map generator working. So in my case, all the black squares in the little picture below on the seminar page is the maze, is the map, and so those were all ones for me. Okay, and then all the gray areas are zeros. Okay, does that make sense? But you might have that flipped, so make sure you use the right one and clear the map out the way you need to. Okay. Replace method random file map with random path generator int start x int start y. So we're going to make a method and it's going to take in 2 integers. Okay, these are the start locations of what this method is going to do. Okay, so this method is going to be a recursive method. Okay, so that means it's going to call itself. And in this case, there should be 4 lines in this method where it's calling itself, okay? And we'll get to that in a sec. If you don't know what a recursive method is, one, you should know what it is. If not, look it up and get familiar with it. So when the start X and Y position is some position on the map, I would make sure for the beginning of this project, make sure it's the same spot every time. Don't randomly pick a spot every time, because that can get confusing as well. You want to pick one spot every time, so that way you can see what's going on. But if you have one spot picked, say this spot, this method needs to check up, down, left, and right. Okay? For its different moves. It's going to move in all those directions. Once it is in that position, you're going to test to see if that position is a valid path area. So, for example, because I ran into this when I was working on this, you need to check to make sure there's no paths around you. Because if there is a path around your new spot, then that means you're connecting to a path that's already generated, and you don't want to do that. But when you move up, you are connected to a previous path, so there's at least one path you're connected to. So if this new spot has one path or 0 paths, it would never have 0, but you still have 0. You still test for 0. You're going to generate. That's going to be a path, so you're going to set that as a path, and then you're going to do it. From here, you're going to check all 4 directions. If this has 2, 3, or 4 paths connected to it, it can't be a path, so it's going to die out, and you're going to go back to the previous position, and then from this position, you try a different direction. So we would try over here, and we would check the 4 directions. If there's only one, then we make this a path. Make sense? If not, I can. You'll need to email me, and I will explain it a little more to you. Determine if the location is valid. We already did that. Pick another direction. So you're going to do all 4 directions, okay? So if once we did this one, we're going to do this one, we're going to do this one, and then we're going to do this one. So you're going to do all 4 directions, okay? We're going to update the generate map method so that it calls clear map. So we want to clear it. And then it runs the random generated path. These may or may not be all the methods you need to do this project. So don't feel like you have to cram everything into these methods to make it work. Now, obviously, clear map is pretty simple. It's going to be 2 for loops, X and Y, and you're going to set the value. That's not rocket science. That's pretty simple. The random path generator, you might need multiple other methods to help you out to make the code make it more readable and more manageable when it comes to certain things. I.e., if you're working on a random path generator method and you notice the same code in several places, you can probably pull that out, refactor it into its own method, and then that way, if you have to make a change, you only have one place to make that change instead of, say, 4 places. Hint, hint. I love my hints. You may need other methods. Yep. Also, the methods described here are not set in stone. So, if you think, the clear map method needs to have an integer be sent in for whether or not it's a 1 or a 0, you can do that. That's fine. You're not going to get docked for that, okay? same thing with any other method. So don't feel like you're set in stone. Please keep the names pretty much the same as I described here on the page, so that way I know what hopefully is going on. We are going to remove the method called smooth map. Okay, so we're not going to smooth out our map. It will actually make the map. It will break it. So don't use it. Take it out. Don't need it. Your map generator has to work with all the code that you created in the last seminar. So what that means is, don't go screw last seminar. I'm gonna blaze my own trail here and make my own map. Don't do that, please, because that'll put a lot of work on you and it'll drive us nuts. My allergies are killing me. So try to so we're just modifying the program is what the goal is. Obviously, name the project as described. All your code must be in C#. The only reason is because the original project was done in C#, and I prefer C# over the JavaScript or the Boo. And so please do it in C#. And then obviously there should be no errors or warnings. Here's the caveat to the thing. I will not necessarily look, like previous projects, I will not necessarily look at your code unless there's major issues, like it's not working. Your maze does not have to look like my maze, okay? It should be close, okay? It depends on how you do all the calculations and stuff. I took this maze code, so the picture I have on the page, that's my first run with it, or first generation of this code. And when I ran it the second time, or I worked on it and modified it, made it more complex than what is asked of you here, and so it generates a different kind of maze. Now I have a YouTube video, and I will post that somewhere, of this maze. It shows how the maze is generated as it goes through the process. Okay, now your code does not need to do what my video is going to show, because again, that was a lot more tweaks I had to make to the project to produce that time-lapse maze generation video. When I made this image on the page, it just popped up, kind of like the cave. Okay, it just popped up. Okay, but again, it doesn't have to be 100% exactly like what my maze kind of looks like. Okay, it could be a little different. Try not to be different on the outset. Try to just get the maze done. Okay, excuse me. Another thing is, this maze, there's only one path through it. Okay, I mean, it's not one consistent path, but there's no loops in the path. So if you went down a path and came to a dead end and you backed up and went down a different path, you would never run into a path you've already been to. Okay, so that's one criteria that I'm looking for. I think that's it. Again, because there's no video that is holding your hand while you're doing this, it does make this project a little tough, a little difficult. It is doable. Everybody gets this one done. Okay, so don't despair. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna talk about that. Last thing is the reflection journal. Please fill it out for this week, and then the next seminar we'll do it. And then last but not least, I should have started this video with this, because hopefully you've made it this far in the video. I am the camp director for Cub Scout Day Camp, and so Saturday, like all day, I'm going to be at Cub Scout Day Camp, and I won't be able to really respond to calls or emails or anything like that. And that also applies on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because those are also day camp days. But I will be online at night if I'm not dead or exhausted, to help you guys out. So I'm not going to totally disappear. My hours are going to be a little, hours during the day are pretty sucked up with stuff, and I can't respond real quick to your requests. That's it. I'll find my video and I'll post it, so you can see how it should run or generate when it just generates it really quick. Okay, this is a very long video. I'm sorry, but I wanted to talk about the project and hopefully clear up some of the issues, or if I made it worse and you don't have no, and I made it worse and you don't understand what I'm doing, please email me and I'll either post another video or just respond back to your email. Okay, thank you, and I'm here to help, so email me if you need to.